Hello, what I'm going to do now is just review with you how to graph linear graphs, how to actually draw them. So if you'll remember, so I've just got two different graphs here. I'm going to do both of them. So I'm going to start with the blue one. What I'm just going to remind you of is this little formula. So y equals mx plus c. We need to know what m and c stand for. So remember that c is the y-intercept, which just means where does the graph cross the y-axis? And then m is the gradient or the slope. It's the same thing. And what this is talking about, whoops, I'm going to write gradient again. What this is asking us is how steep is the graph? Remember, gradient measures steepness. So let's have a go at graphing the blue one. Remember, the first thing I want to do is graph the y-intercept. And that is this part of the graph, right? It's the plus c. So here, my y-intercept is -3. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 on my y-axis, and -3 is my y-intercept. Then I'm going to say, what is m, the gradient? Well, that is the number in front of x, which is 2. And remember, we said that the gradient is rise over run. Rise is going up, run is always going to the right. So if this is not already, so we said that c is -3 and m is 2. But if it's not a fraction, right, because this is a fraction, I have to make it a fraction by putting it over 1, right? Because anything divided by 1 is itself. 2 divided 1 is 2, so then the gradient is still 2. So what this means is that I have to rise 2 and run 1 from the dot I've already got. So I'm going to go up 2, over 1. Excellent. And then because I can't draw straight lines, I'm going to get my straight line tool and draw a straight line between them. So that is what we should have done with this graph. Let's have another go at doing it in pink. Again, I'm always going to, well, actually, that's probably unhelpful to color code it like that. I did mean to say that this is the second step. So the first thing we're going to do again is say that C is 1, right? Because it's this bit here at the end. So in this case, it's +1. My y-intercept is 1. Then I'm going to say that my slope is already a fraction. So that's really helpful. I don't have to do anything, but it's negative. So normally we rise, but if it's negative, we're going to fall. So we're going to go down 1, but we still go to the right 2. So from this dot, I'm going to go down 1 and then over 2, and my second dot goes here. And then again, I'm going to get my straight line and put it straight through my dots. All right, now that is the way to graph if you have the y equals mx plus c format. Remember, we also talked about graphing with a table of values. So what I'm going to do now is graph the same two graphs, but with a table of values. So I'm just going to erase some of this so I can do the same thing again. So we should end up with the same lines, but I'm going to do it a different way. So let's get rid of all of this and get rid of all of this. All right, let's have another go. Well, let's get rid of all of these too. I knew that was going to happen. Oh, I don't know how to do this. You know what? I'm just going to leave those dots there because we need them later anyway, as you will see. All right, so let's do the blue one first. So remember, I'm going to make a table of values. So I'm not going to use my straight line tool because I'm being lazy, but I'm just going to put some values in here. -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. So what I'm going to do is say if x is -2, what is y? So this is a substitution question. I am just going to put this in the place of x and see what I get. So 2 times -2 is -4. -4 minus 3 is -7. Let's do it again with this. 2 times -1 is -2. -2 minus 3 is -5. Let's do it again. 2 times 0 is 0. Minus 3 is -3. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 minus 3 is -1. And then 2 times 2 is 4. 4 minus 3 is 1. So now I have 5 dots. So I'm going to put these dots on my graph. Oh, you know what? I haven't actually got enough lines. All right. I want blue. All right, so this one is -2 and 7. So -2 on the x, and then -7 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep, there we go. So my first dot goes there. Now, obviously, this is going to be a pretty wonky straight line because I'm not using a proper grid like you're going to use in your books. So then I have -1 and -5, which is down here. Then this one we already have because look, it's 0 and -3, 0 and -3, because this is our y-intercept, right? That doesn't change even though I'm graphing it in a new way. This one is 1 and -1, 2 and +1. So if I'd done this well, this would be a nice straight, oh my gosh. All right, let's get the straight line tool and it's just going to look a bit weird, I think. There we go. That'll do. Close enough. We get a lovely straight line. All right, let's do the pink one. So again, we're just putting the dots in and joining them up and we get this line. This looks the same as the last one, right? If you want to have a think about what I said about rise over run, let me just pick a new color, right? 2 over 1, we said we rise 2 and we run 1. From the y-intercept, we rise 2 and we run 1. See how it's the same thing? Between every single dot, we are rising 2 and running 1. All of these have the same gradient. I mean, it looks rubbish because I've drawn it badly, but that's the same thing. All right, let's do the pink one again. All right, again, I'm going to make my table of values. So I'm going to do the same numbers from -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. The reason I picked these is because I get a few negative numbers and a few positive numbers. Just gives me a balance on the graph. So the difficult thing here is that I've got a half. So -2 times -half. Remember, when you multiply two negatives, it becomes a positive. So -2 times -half is +1. So it's just 1 plus 1. Remember, I'm substituting x again. So, whoops, I was speaking. 1 plus 1 is 2. All right, let's try it again. -half times -1 is +half. +half plus 1 is 1.5. 0, well, this is 0. -half times 0 is 0. 0 plus 1 is 1. -half times 1 is -half. -half plus 1 is just +half. And then I do -2 times, sorry, -half times 2, which is -1. -1 plus 1 is 0. All right, so let's put our values down. I have -2 and 2. I have -1 and 1.5. I have 0 and 1, which I already have because this is the y-intercept still makes sense. Then I have 1.5, so 1.5, and 2 and 0. And this makes a lovely straight line again. Ta-da! All right, so that's the graphing with a table of values. Again, if we want to think about the slope, this is falling 1 because it's negative and running 2. So if I get a new color, we can see that. This is falling 1 and running, what did I just say? Falling 1 and running 2. Oh, I suppose it's falling half. Okay, let me show it to you better. Okay, this is falling 1 and running 2. Falling 1 and running 2. See how it's still the same? So that's why you can graph using either method. It's totally fine. But that's the green bit that I showed you. You don't have to think about this bit. You can just use a table of values. I just want to show you why it's the same thing. All right. I hope that helps.